In this video, we will work on lighting. The lights would be arranged approximately like in this image. The lights would be animated to be turned on or off in a sequence. First, I'll move the light sun to its own collection, lighting. I'll change the name of the light to initial fill light. I don't want the text to be visible initially. So let's reduce the power value in light properties. In the Object Properties tab, I'll move the light behind text along Y-axis. I want the text to be slightly visible as it is falling before the impact. Let's move the playhead to frame 14. Change light type to sun in the light properties. Next, press Shift and right-click to move 3D cursor right below and behind tech. Add a point light pressing Shift plus A, light, and selecting point. Let's check the lighting in rendered preview. Duplicate the light with Shift plus D and move it right. With the duplicated light selected, press N for transform properties, and change the X-axis location. Play the animation and verify if the smoke effect is visible. Let's rename the lights. Let's determine when to turn on/off the rim lights. The text animation happens between 12 and 48. Select Rim Light R, click on white dot next to power to add a keyframe. Move playhead to frame 11, set power to 0 and add a keyframe pressing I key. Move playhead to frame 48 and add a keyframe. Move playhead to frame 49, set power to 0 and add a keyframe. Select Rim Light L and move playhead to frame 28. Add a keyframe to power under light properties. Move playhead to frame 27 and add a keyframe with power set to 0. Move playhead to frame 54 and add a keyframe to power. Move playhead to frame 55. Set power to 0 and add a keyframe. I'll further adjust the last two keyframes to create a fade effect. Next, select Initial Fill Light and set Playhead to 48. Set Strength in Light Properties to 0 and add a keyframe on frame 47. Now the lights are visible for a brief period. Switch to Material Preview. Shift plus right-click to move 3D cursor at the mouse cursor. Press Shift plus A and add a spotlight. With Spotlight selected, zoom and place cursor on the middle text object. Pressing Shift plus T now will point the light at the text. Switch to Rendered Preview. Adjust the angle of the spotlight. Adjust the location and rotation of the spotlight. The goal is to move the spotlight from left to right and right to left. Set the rotation of x-axis to 8, 6 and z-axis to 39 degrees. Animation playhead should be at frame 60. With mouse over rotation properties, press the I key to add a keyframe. Move playhead to frame 108, set Z-axis rotation to 39 and add a keyframe. Let's scrub the playhead and test it. Move the keyframe from 108 to 132. Duplicate the keyframe on frame 60 with Shift plus D. Move it to frame 204. Move playhead to frame 60 and add a keyframe to power property. Move playhead to frame 204 and add a keyframe to power property. Move playhead to frame 205. Set power to 0 and add a keyframe. Move playhead to frame 59. Set power to 0 and add a keyframe. Let's switch to camera view and play the animation. Let's switch to Material Preview. Shift plus right-click behind the text to place 3D cursor at the mouse pointer. First, I'll rename these lights to Temp Rim Lights. Press Shift plus A and add a new area light. Rename it Rim Light. Zoom in, hover the mouse pointer over the text in the middle, and press Shift plus T. This will align the light with the text. Set the rotation of X-axis to 90 and Y and Z-axis to 0. Switch to Material Preview and adjust the location. Adjust the power in Light Properties tab. Switch to Material Preview. Shift plus right-click at the bottom right to move 3D cursor. Press Shift plus A to add a new area light. I'll rename it Fill Light R. Duplicate the light and rename it Fill Light L. Press N for transform properties and move it to the left on X-axis. Select both Fill Light L and R, then press Shift plus T hovering mouse over the text. Both lights now focus the text. Select Rim Light and switch to Rendered View. Move the playhead to frame 210 and add a keyframe on power in Light Properties. Move the playhead to frame 209 and add a keyframe with power set to 0. Increase the total number of frames to 336. Move the playhead to frame 216. With Fill Light are selected, add a keyframe to power property. Move playhead to frame 215 and add a keyframe with power set to 0. Let's do the same with fill light L. Move playhead to frame 222 and add a keyframe on power property. Move playhead to frame 221 and add a keyframe with power set to 0. Let's scrub through the animation and check if it's working as intended. Let's change the shape of rim light to rectangle. And adjust width and height. Let's also adjust power settings of fill lights. We'll have to keyframe power value again since we changed the value. Exit camera view and enter material preview. Set the rotation of fill lights on Y-axis to 0. Let's go back to rendered view. Move the fill light L keyframes from 221 and 222 to 227 and 228. Adjust the rectangle size to 0.8 for x-axis and 4 for y-axis. Next, let's add a key light. Press Shift+A and select Point Light. Adjust light settings in Light Properties. Move playhead to frame 234. Select Key Light. Add a keyframe on power. Move playhead to frame 233. Set power to 0 and add a keyframe. I'll move the fill lights and key light keyframes a bit further. Let's also increase the power of fill lights and update the keyframes. Let's play the animation to verify. Now the lighting setup is complete. Next, I would like to add a background plane when spotlight is moving. Press Shift+S and select Cursor to World Origin. Press Shift+A to add a new plane object. In the Add Plane dialog, rotate 90 degrees on X-axis. Adjust the location of plane on Y-axis to just before the logo wall. Press Command/Control+A and apply rotation and scale. Rename the plane as Shadow Background. The spotlight gets active on frame 60. Let's move it down Z-axis out of camera view. At frame 59, add a keyframe on Shadow Background's location. Move playhead to frame 205. Add a keyframe at frame 205. Set Z-axis to 0 and add a keyframe at frame 60. Set Z-axis to 1.1 and update the keyframe at frame 59. Duplicate keyframe on frame 205 and move it 204. Set the location of Z-axis to 0 and update keyframe on frame 204. Now the white background plane would only be visible while the spotlight is moving. Play the animation and verify in rendered mode. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.